So as you probably can tell, I have a lot of different various collections. Of course, variously shown through my Criterion collection, my Arrow Video, my Steelcase, my Eureka Cinema 4K, and a whole bunch of the likes. And so early January this year, of course, a month ago or so, a lot of those videos came out, a great amount of views and new subscribers, which I wasn't really expecting, but like I sometimes forget how big, not how big the videos of collections can get, but like how big film fans are to go and watch other people's collections, which I really admire. I do the same thing myself, so I don't know why I forget about it. So I was thinking, I didn't want to make an excuse to make more collection videos. So of course my 4K it's a renewed one because I've had more come into it, and I've got maybe some various other ideas for collections, one being talking about Umbrella. Sorry about the focus thing, because that's a brand label much like a distribution label much like Criterion. But then there's also like the cult cinema ones. These are kind of uniquely Australian, but I feel like it gives you a good idea of like my taste of cult films, or at least what is defined as a cult film according to this label. But there's also one that I'm planning on doing, which is a random collection, because like I've got stuff that, like, what's a good example? I've got one like this, which is done by, I think it's called Second Sight. Yeah, and it's such a ridiculously interesting box set that I want to showcase that kind of stuff. So expect maybe a few videos of those coming in the future as well, after I've done today's video, which of course is Shout Factory / Scream Factory. So I will note that I started collecting these. I don't have that many. I recently got like a good handful come in the mail. I'm like, oh wow, they're all Scream Factory / Shout Factory. I believe Shout Factory is the main label. Scream Factory is like the subsidiary. But at the same time, they're all still Shout Factory. So I bought this one. This is Escape New York, the collector's edition. I like how they're all slim case, which is very rare for my shelf because I have mostly Australian or British DVDs. And I'd never heard of Scream Factory or Shout Factory. This is a Scream Factory release. But I always wanted to get this film because I'm a big John Carpenter fan. And so, of course, you open it up and you've got yourself the feature film, and you've got an extra disc, which is all special features. And, of course, open up even further and you get yourself the original artwork. You can see it at the top there is a crack because it broke in shipping, but to be honest, it didn't really ruin it for me, so I don't really mind. And I kind of disliked the idea of having this for a while until arguably very recently, because I got this one, I'm like, oh, it's Region A. I've never actually watched this transfer. I actually just briefly took a look at it just for this video. It's a good transfer. But I'd never really watched it because I didn't actually have the player to be able to play it until like a year ago when I got my Region A player. And so I've never actually properly watched this version, but also because I bought this box set, which is the 4K remaster and is also, huge and comes with 4K and Blu-ray or Region B. So I was kind of like, oh, that kind of sucks that I have the Shout Factory, but I'm not going to get rid of it. It's still a collector's edition that has a hell of a lot of special features, stuff that this maybe doesn't have. I've never really properly compared them, but either way, I could watch either version if I wanted to. I can't really say as to which one I prefer. Probably, maybe this one because it's the 4K and it looks just that bit better, but they're both really good transfers anyway. So that's what started my Shout Factory collection, I guess. It's probably my least, good version when you look at kind of all these water damages and stuff like that. So it's it's not the best version I could have of it, but of course I don't mind given that I have the 4K, and I can put it on my shelf now because there's a tiny little inch of display space for it. My second Region A, which is my last only regret for Shout Factory because of the recent Region B publications by, I believe, still Umbrella again, did a publication for this one, Day of the Dead. This, of course, is the collector's edition again. I really like this poster as it is. It's quite a montage of stuff. It's another thing that they do. A lot of big collection houses do that kind of a thing. I think Criterion's probably the only one who doesn't do it. It's probably Arrow Video and Shout Factory in particular do a whole remastered one. But then, of course, on the inside you have your original, and I love the original. And if I'm not wrong, this is just a regular high definition transfer. I still don't have the second film, Dawn of the Dead. I only just recently saw it in cinemas for the first time, like 2 months ago, like December last year, I believe it was, maybe November last year. And I really liked it. I have the Criterion version of Night of the Living Dead, which you can see in my Criterion Collection video. And of course, I have Dawn of the Dead. This one's actually my favorite. I do like the other two a lot, but I just prefer Day of the Dead more. I kind of just wish that I had have bought the Region B version from Umbrella, but at the same time, they're both the exact same transfer, so there's no problem with that. It only makes me feel like I wanted to get that version instead because it has the different cover, but then so does this one. It's the same as Suspiria. If I had have waited a bit, I would have gotten the Region B version, but of course, you never know when they're going to be released, which is annoying. So instead I have the Region A version, which is still perfectly fine. It's like getting a Blu-ray of a film that you really like, but then the 4K comes out like a month later, and you're like, why did no one tell me that there was a 4K coming out? You know, sometimes you just want that other version that suits your taste better, either because it's higher quality, or because it's like your region code, so you can show it to your friends as well, and that kind of stuff. So next up we have Wild at Heart. This one I didn't even know was this is a Shout Select version. Kind of a remaster, really probably the best version of the Blu-ray that you can get. Also, slipcase, which is quite nice, with some beautiful artwork. I do like the other version that you can get, because it's just like the logo kind of label thing, simple, I don't know, it's just a thing. It's like a heart or a knife through it, I think. Either way. It's got quite a nice back into it again, always just words and stuff. But then you open it up, what's on the inside? It does have one of those as well. I think they all... Okay, so this is the first of the slipcases, so... all the rest of mine are... Almost all of them are slipcases. This is quite a favourite of mine. What is this? Complete your Shout Select collection. So this is the Shout Select version of Shout. So yeah, that's why. So Shout Factory, Shout Select, and of course... Scream Factory. There's a lot of labels. Like, I can understand if it's like kind of like a big company thing, like a, say, AAA gaming company that's also like, oh, hey, here's this, and this, which is like subsidiary companies that we've either made or bought. And of course it has its original artwork for Wild at Heart, the original poster, which I quite like. I think I'll keep it as this one, the regular remastered one. Is this going to go in properly? Yes, it is. Okay. It's also quite a nice transfer. Not the best it probably could have been, but it's still quite a nice looking transfer. There's still, you know, some dirt here and there, something that could easily be cleaned up, but at the same time, I don't mind. I have the film, and that's kind of like the prominent feature of it. If I own the film, I'm happy, usually. Next up, we have one of my most curious ones. I've been wanting to collect this one for a while in my John Carpenter collection, and that would be In the Mouth of Madness. This is one of the new ones. This is now of the new set that I got at the end of 2019. I believe I got Wild at Heart in 2019 as well, because it came out in 2019. Whereas I believe Day of the Dead and Escape New York I got maybe in 2018. So yeah, this is the 4K remaster. I watched this just last night. It is... I mean, it's got quite a nice cover to it as well, quite picturesque. But of course, as you can see here, I've actually changed it to the original artwork. I still really like this cover as well. And lived any good books lately. Regular stuff, of course, you open it up, you get your remastered work. Nothing too dramatic there. Really, really nice transfer. This is a 4K remaster. It looks really good. It's actually a 4K scan. I forget that there's a difference between 4K remaster and 4K scan. But yes, it does look amazing. It's quite a good film. I really enjoyed watching it. It's something really different, and I think John Carpenter was really able to pull off the kind of tone for his directing, of course. And I really liked how the script, like how how it was kind of written in a way, if that makes sense. The scripting elements of it, and of course the acting. Sam Neill, of course, is great. Oh, I'll save the best till last, of course. But next up we have Pumpkinhead. This one, a lot of these I can actually credit to. Two of these I can credit to In Search of Darkness, is a recent horror documentary I got. I was actually one of the crowdfunders for it, and they recommended a whole bunch of films, of course, and by recommending I mean they talked about these films, and of course Pumpkinhead was one of them. This is a film of Lance Henriksen. You may know him from such films as Aliens and Alien vs. Predator. See, there he is there with his pitchfork. It does reveal what the monster looks like, but I don't mind. It's a pretty nice transfer as well. It's got some really great colours to it. On the inside you have quite a funky looking disc. And then you have a really horrific cover. You've got Pumpkinhead, what does it say there? It's a grim fairy tale. I don't like that cover, so I don't think I'll ever change it. It's really, it's scary, yes, but it's more or less the fact that it's just plain old creepy. Nevertheless, really fun film. It's a different kind of narrative to what I expected, but I still thought it was rather fun and interesting. Next up, we have another slipcover, Trick or Treat. And of course, I've been hearing about this film for quite a while now. This is like 2006, 2007. 2007, yeah. This is, I mean, I think it might be shot on film. Either way, because it's 2007, it's hard to tell. As it is, I already like how much the colouring of all this pops. It's one of those things of, if you don't really look at the cover that much, and then you watch the film and then you're surprised by all the elements of it, because these covers always ruin all of the different elements to the film. And it's one of those films that happens to have a lot of those, oh, we're going to set up this, but like pay it off completely differently and you're not going to expect it. I mean, unless you do. But for the most part, it's quite fun. It's a very interesting anthology film. So, of course, on the inside, you've got its regular cover. That's the girl who, in the cage. I don't know why they have her on this cover. I don't mind at all as it is. And then on the inside, of course, you have Sam with the original cover work. And there's a lot of good special features as well to it. I took a good look at some of them while I was... after I'd finished watching it, because it was like too late for me to watch another film, but early enough that I could watch a lot of the other stuff in it. It's also written and directed by Michael Dougherty, who's done Krampus and Godzilla King of the Monsters, which it notes on this one, so obviously this is a recent release, to the point that it says Godzilla King of the Monsters. But yeah, definitely one worth checking out. Second last. Yes, I know, there aren't many. I've got like 7 of these in total. It's more or less the fact that I want to give it more of a insight into my opinions on the films as well, because, and it transfers, given that I can actually say that I've watched all of them, because I watched all of them for this video. This one was the first one I watched the day I got them all, because, holy heavens above, they almost ruined the twist in the documentary In Search of Darkness. And I'm like, I'd always wanted to watch it. I've been hearing about it for a few years now. And of course, this is Sleepaway Camp. No spoilers, of course. I won't say anything about the plot. Beautiful cover as it is. This is actually a reversible cover. The original cover, because it's got 2 discs, DVD and Blu-ray, so could do a video essay on it. There is the cover for... Sorry about the focus on it. This is the cover for, of course, the particular collector's edition. I do like it too how because they've got reversible sleeves, you actually have like different images. You've got like her on one side, but then on the other side you've got all these other characters. And I do like that about some of these Shout Select release, like the Scream Factory releases, that they have, if they've got like a reversible cover, which most of them do, and it's not just like, they always have something, usually have something different on this side, like Pumpkinhead is the same deal. This is also from a 2K scan. Looks really good from its elements. They did have a bunch of special features on it. I think this is the one that went into how they Yeah, this is the one that went into how they turned it into a 2K master, which is quite interesting to watch. So it's got some nice special features. Really good slasher film. Like, I like Friday the 13th, but this is better. Like, so much better. Wholeheartedly worth the watch, no matter how you watch it, because the build up to the ending especially is so incredible. You just, I don't know, it's really well done. Totally a 100% worth it film, and really good cover. Actually, the ending is so extraordinary. I couldn't get it out of my head for ages. Like, just a particular image. And if you've seen the film, you know the image, and it stays in your head for a long, long, long time. However, to wrap this all up, I watched this about 2 nights ago. Again, another one of those classic ones with a cover that actually kind of ruins all the elements to the film, but not really. Because out of context, sometimes it doesn't. So, this is a good slipcase. Quite a good edition. A 4K remaster. Looks incredible. Special features especially are incredible. I've only looked at a few of them, but one of them in particular called The Colors of Creepshow, which is a look at the restoration of the thing. Yeah, oh, sorry, did I not tell you? It's Creepshow. Yeah, I have Creepshow, and I'm so happy to have this. This is the special edition remaster. Beautiful cover as it is. And of course on the back you have all this extra stuff. So yeah, The Colors of Creepshow, a look at the restoration of Creepshow with Michael Gornick, who's the cinematographer on the film. But this doesn't just come with a hard case. It comes with 2 extra things. So of course we'll start with the extra thing. It comes with a booklet, which also I want my cake. I love that line. It has some. So this is another anthology film, much like Trick or Treat, except Trick or Treat blends them all into one long narrative, and quite cleverly so. This one is like a whole bunch of small, different, short films, pretty much, that all have a distinct use of horror, mostly relating to what could scare the everyday person. It's not like, oh, let's use these big, large jump scares. It's just like, oh, this person's scared of bugs, let's do a scary bug thing. This person's scared of greed, I guess. Or, the irony of greed and stuff like that. And then there's revenge one and a whole bunch of monster in the box. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Of course, you've got your classic meteor shit. Yeah, but this is a pretty good booklet that goes into a lot of detail of the film, with George A. Romero. Even this film has Leslie Nielsen in it. Like, I love Leslie Nielsen. It showcases various accounts of the artwork, especially. What was that? That was just there. No, not that one. That one. So yeah, you've got original posters that it shows as well. And of course then you have the whole crew. I think that's... I don't know, but that could be George A. Romero. I don't know. I don't think it's him, because I'm very sure George A. Romero has a more distinct look with the big ass glasses. That could be him. I haven't really seen younger pictures of him. But of course that's Tom Savini and Stephen King. Just because they're more recognizable people in my mind. That's just a me thing. It's got nothing against George A. Romero. I recognize him more for his films than his look, because he's not really an actor. He doesn't show himself on screen. Then you have the Blu-ray, which again, I really like how they've done this. So you have this version of the cover, which is really nice. Sorry about the waviness to it. That's kind of just how the plastic is. So, what does it say? The most fun you'll ever have been scared. So this is like a original theatre kind of thing, where you go to the admissions box. And then you have, of course, your back cover. Not much to it on the back. But then suddenly you go on the inside, and I got to take this out for this one because it's a beauty. It is a absolute stunner of a cover. Because I have a book that goes into... I might also do a book collection at some stage where I go into my film books, because I have a lot of film books. And it also shows this cover, the actual original one that they showed for, what do you call it, promotional things, which is actually slightly different, but I'll tell you why in a second. So this is, of course, the cover. So that's one sleeve of it, which is really nice. And then you have the back sleeve of it. And it looks like a comic book, of course. You even got your comic book covers there, and you got your creep show there. What was it? 5 Jolting Tales of Terror. And of course, if you look up in the top there, you've got Dawn of the Dead and The Shining and Carrie, because of course, you know, George A.R. Romero and Stephen King. Stephen King wrote the film, and George A.R. Romero directed it. But in the original version, the original cover, it's the same kind of deal, except the kid is reading, like, it doesn't have these particular cover posters. Obviously, this is designed more for the film, but they've got a version where it's the same idea, but it's got the kid reading the comic book, and on the comic book has this whole cover, and it just goes in and in and in and in and in, that kind of stuff. So I was a little disappointed when I saw that, but when I realized, oh, it's because, you know, you got Dawn of the Dead and Carrie and The Shining, and the kid looks like the kid from the film and that kind of stuff, it makes more sense to it all when you think about it. I think I'll fix this up in a second. So yeah, overall, that is my Shout Factory collection. There aren't too many. A lot of the films that probably Shout Factory has released, I have Region B versions of it, or like maybe I've got a Criterion, or I've got a Arrow Video, or an Umbrella. Most likely an Umbrella. So it kind of sucks in that manner, but because they're hard enough to watch, because I only have one specific player for them, and that specific player cost me quite a lot of money because these are all American films, like Region A films. So that's annoying, but at the same time, I don't mind. I like that I have them a lot of the time, because I like the fact that it reads Collector's Edition. I like these unique artworks to it. And all the special features, all the slipcases, or especially just everything with the Creepshow box. It's amazing. So yeah, that's, even though small, is my whole entire collection for Shout Factory. So if you have any Shout Factory you'd like to suggest, then I'll most likely check them out, because I like to look at and get different variations of Shout Factory, if possible, Shout and or Scream. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. There'll be a playlist up here, which is my film shelf playlist, which will have a whole bunch of videos to do with Criterion and stuff. Got another collection one here. Could be anything, Arrow, Eureka, 4K, whatever. And then maybe a subscribe button here, or if I stand here, then maybe I could do a subscribe here and another thing there, or a subscribe here and a video there. It's funny how much stuff that you can put in the post-process of YouTube. It's really, really annoying, actually, when you don't think about it when you're making the videos. So either way, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. For, if not another collection, then back to the regular program, you know, of film reviews, actor reviews, short films, and other random jargon that YouTube allows me to post. Adios.